Welcome to Quack&Co, the board game channel where every video is 10 minutes or less guaranteed, and today we're talking about Cryptid, Urban Legends from Osprey Games. Now, if you're familiar with the original Cryptid, this is going to be a step away from that hidden deduction style gameplay. Here we're going to be diving into a two-player head-to-head abstract game where you're doing your best to establish control of various regions in this line or in this grid of cards here. You're going to be moving cubes to determine where and how your cryptid will do its best to escape, and you and the hunter are in a dueling match of wits. The hunter's objective is to limit your black identification cube down to one zone by reducing the amount of similarities you have around the cards in play. Your job as the cryptid is to escape by splitting your identifications all the way to where you have them at both ends, the extreme peripherals of the game board. Now, how do you do that? Well, you'll be moving cubes throughout the course of play by playing a series of cards from your hand. These cards will either split, align, or shuffle the different cubes in the deck here. That will then determine the type of call that you make, either matching numbers or matching colors, which will then determine how your token spreads on the game board. Align is going to move everything of one color down. So all the red shift in the same direction. Split is going to take everything from a single location, for instance here, and let you break it up however you would like. And shuffle is going to let you move one space down and one space over. That's about as complicated as the game gets. The real strategy starts showing up as you start playing back and forth, because you see, more and more cards are going to come out. After you've shifted all your cubes down, you'll then call out a pattern, either a set of numbers or a set of colors that you want to identify and move your markers according to. For instance here, I could call out red, white, and black, meaning this card's qualified, and this card is qualified. Any place now that is adjacent to one of my markers that also has the same matching set or sequence will allow me to move a marker down. Now, I don't win in this case because I actually need to be able to spread one step farther. We'll spawn two more sets of cards, and now my goal is to spread to this peripheral and this one up here, while the hunter's doing the best to reduce me back into the middle or potentially split me into a set of two lines, making it harder and harder for me to actually get adjacency the next time I call out a number or pattern. Now, what do I mean by number? You see, if I had, let's see here, I have 5 here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here, but I also have 5 here. So I could have made the same call and just not had something there in the middle. This is how the object of the game goes. You'll continue playing cards back and forth, doing your best to read what the other player may or may not have in their hand, using your special wild card from time to time, which you can refresh by grabbing red tokens off the board, and continue driving down this abstract pattern game until one of you has secured victory. Like I've said, the victory for the cryptid means that they escape by splitting into each end of the city. The victory for the hunter is that they reduce them down to 1, and then if time runs out, meaning this deck of cards has been exhausted, you'll actually determine the victor by whoever has collected the majority of these red points or red tokens. The hunter will collect these red tokens by deleting or removing cards from the edge of the game board that contain those red circles, where the cryptid will score them by moving their own black marker onto a location where the red score existed. That'll refresh their wild card and give them endgame victory points if it comes down to a tiebreaker. So, what are my thoughts? Best, worst, and verdict. The best things about this game is going to be the fact it's a small box pattern building game with a decent amount of strategy that can expand for 2 players the more times you sit down and dive into it. I find the card plays interesting, and there's enough depth here to dig your teeth in and continue recycling and replaying. The worst part about Cryptid Urban Legends so far is going to be the fact that it can get a little repetitive, especially if you're both equal or equivalent players. It's hard to catch someone off in a bluff, and so the abstract nature of this game falls a little flat when you find that you're hitting stalemates more often than you're getting solid, good plays and solid victory conditions. Along with that, the random draw of cards reduces my opportunity to be creative, and sometimes puts me in a tight spot where the win would be possible if only I'd drawn up the right sequence. Now, the verdict. If you're a fan of the original Cryptid, I think this one still might be worth looking into. It's something in the same area or thematic genre. Could talk someone who doesn't usually play abstracts or pattern laying games or pattern matching games into sitting down with you at the table. That being said, I do think Urban Legends is a step away from the classic, and it definitely doesn't carry on the same elements that so many of us enjoyed with the original Cryptid. Ultimately, what I would say is I would have you try this game before you decide whether or not you want to buy it. If you have a local game store that has a copy that's been opened up, sit down and give it a swing. It plays quick enough and shouldn't be too hard to learn, even if you're sitting there at the store. And if you find a good deal on it, it's probably not a bad one to add to your collection, but I wouldn't rush out and buy it immediately. So, Cryptid, Urban Legends, it's your Quack&Co best, worst, and verdict review. Have a good day, and remember, less time watching means more time playing. We'll see you next time. Thank you.